he's oozing sex, and the type of guy that he's probably going to look in the mirror when he wakes up and say, "Damn it, it happened again." And when someone says, "What?" He goes, got more handsome again today. Continues.
Yeah. Heyo, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. I'm Dan Hanzus with my beautiful co-host Marc Sessler. You know, Sessy, hump day.
Right.
Also, tomorrow, Thursday, is week 3. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, but it's crazy in terms of the NFL routine, how it just starts rolling like a snowball. Week 3 already.
It's as if rocks were falling from the sky. There's no stopping it. You just kind of try not to get hit by one, but you're going to get hit by one at some point. And I don't know if we're allowed to still say hump day, but I think that's still in our lexicon, correct?
Hump day's still here. I think our show is mostly driving it at this point, but it's still a thing. And yes, so our midweek show, as it always is our end around show, which will be a spin around of all the news headlines, anything else that we've kind of the jetsam and flotsam.
I'd reverse that.
Flotsam and jetsam?
Flotsam and jetsam, I believe, is typically
flotsam.
How we
I like
that
jetsam and flotsam. Yeah. But you know what? Looks like we need to break the tie. So, and it's really the only reason he's on the show is to break this tie. I've thought about this for a couple of days. I feel like Pete Sweeney, our friend, beat writer for the Kansas City Chiefs, the much under fire Chiefs, good timing, HTC, will break the tie. Jetsam or flotsam or flotsam or jetsam? Pete.
I think I favor jetsamer. It feels like it comes off the tongue a little better.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is only because I failed to respond to Pete's text when I was in deep Missouri, and I'm still smarting from that. But it's going to have an after effect.
I'm glad that I'm glad. And again, this end around, we like to have somebody in this jump seat every week, and Pete is perfect because he knows our show. He's been on our show. We've held him in our embrace on more than one occasion. No, we'll keep that private otherwise.
Sure.
But also there is history, and I'm glad you kind of got that out there, that you did blow off Pete's text, Mark, a few months back.
Mark, during the summer, somehow said he was in Missouri, so I broke away from the group text and I said, "Look, man, the next time you're in Missouri, hit me up. I'll bring you to the coolest dive bar I know." Radio silence, big league.
Sessler. Pete, was there any effort from Mark to rectify that? Like, something, let things cool down after you called him out last time you were on your show, and then maybe did he fire something out your way just to test the waters? Any effort like that to be a decent human?
I have noticed since the texident that he's been a lot nicer to me on social media, really leaning into mi amigo, my friend. Great to have Pete here. I've gotten a couple Instagram likes. I mean, it's been a full court press publicly. Nothing privately, but certainly in the public sphere. I can kind of tell.
That checks out for Sessler.
Yeah, I like to start publicly, and let's amplify you and sort of the entire Pete Sweeney experience, right. And then we'll get a little more personal.
You're learning about the Sessler mask. You see what it's all about,
Well, this could not be more up Dan's alley to find out that I made a social mistake, out of pocket, and then it's like, this just checks out everything that we think about Mark. Well, it's like I don't want to waste more time on it, but there is a nuanced reason for why that went down, and it had nothing to do with.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's over. Well, there's no way to kind of put the toothpaste back in the tube on that one, my man.
Okay.
It was a moment of heartbreak. I mean, to pull the curtain back, to be on the oar chair after listening to the show for 10 years to the ATL days, it felt good. And, to pop on, certainly to be a host today. And I hear Mark mention Missouri in passing. So, I've heard, back into the West days, you guys love a dive bar. I feel like, okay, here's a point of connection. Radio silence. Since then, though, it's been better. It's been better, and it's been appreciated and noticed. So thank you, Mark.
This is why they call me the peacemaker, because I'm just jumping in and I'm getting I'm rolling up the sleeves, and I'm getting my hands dirty, and I'm saying, how do we fix this? This is classic Peacemaker at the top of his game. So we're working towards something, Mark.
Well, you call yourself Peacemaker. I think that we might call it something else because you enjoy kind of roiling it all up and getting it going to start, and then you solve the problem that you helped, turn into a
classic
storm.
pot stirrer. Yeah, classic pot stirrer. But listen, you come out of it.
A dirty Peter, perhaps? A Stinky Davis?
Only sometimes. It just depends on how much liquor. Anyway.
Yeah, we know, Mark, we know each other so well at this point that we could finish our own. Never mind. Okay, let's dive into today's end around, shall we? By the way, hi, Justin. I forgot to say hello to you. How are you, buddy?
That's okay. I'm good. Thanks. Let's get to today's end around.
Very nice. And by the way, one more thing about Pete. Every other time we've had Pete on the show, he's been working with the Arrowhead Pride site. But now, as we mentioned, he is covering the Chiefs for the KC Star, also on Kansas City's KSHB 41 News Channel, Sports Radio 810. That's a real jump. That's a career jump. And that is a tide that lifts all boats. So you on our show, as the voice of Chiefs, or the written voice of Chiefs fandom, that's a big deal. Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I ran Arrowhead Pride for 8 years, which is really well known in Kansas City, and I think elsewhere, it does get referenced on the ESPN and NFL Network on occasion. Schrager was always a big fan of Arrowhead Pride, but yeah, now joining the paper of record mid dynasty, maybe for another 4 months. I guess we'll end up seeing.
Yeah, mid dynasty might be a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right? But it's cool. I would travel to a few games per year with Arrowhead Pride, and I'll be starting this weekend traveling every week, which is really wild. I was telling you guys off air, but I'll just share it. I grew up a Giants fan in New York and wanted to do sports journalism, found my way to Kansas City, and they play at Giants Stadium every 12 years. So the fact that this is my first road trip that's paid for and taken care of, and, an entity wanting me to be there it's a very cool thing that's happening on Sunday night. So
it's symbolic. And also you work at the same newspaper, a famous one of the oldest in the country, where Ernest Hemingway once was a reporter. Mm-hmm. So
I prefer Jason Whitlock over Hemingway, but we'll go with Hemingway. Yeah.
And also, Mark, here's another just unsolicited advice. Come Sunday, when Pete's at the Meadowlands, shoot him a text. I'll even give you the text like, "Hey man, this has to be a trip for you, man. God, go kill it today, dude. It's dreams coming true for you, man. Really happy.
It's a great idea, but tell me these in private so it looks organic."
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll cook something else up. What the hell? Why don't we start here? Let's talk about the Chiefs just a little bit here, Pete, because obviously they're 0-2, but at the same time they are 0-2 against the Chargers and these dopey Brazil game or whatever, which I always put a little bit of an asterisk on. Maybe I shouldn't, but it takes everyone so out of their routines. It just seems like such a strange thing, especially to start the season. Then they come home and, who knows if Travis Kelce makes that catch that leads to the game turning interception. Maybe they're 1-1 right now, but they're not. They're 0-2. In terms of Chiefs panic, 0 to 10 P scale, 0 pants totally dry, 10 you're totally soaked. You got to take your hoodie off and tie it around your waist and find somewhere else to go and change out of your pants. Where do you stand on the P scale?
Well, I guess the whole thing is surprising to me. And this goes back to like the first day of training camp, and I get there and Andy Reid runs over to me and he told me, "Petey, I love this team." And so when I hear something like that from Andy Reid, I
sounds familiar.
I'm shocked. Yeah, no, I wish that story were true. No, I think the panic level is about a 6 or 7. I know, James, we've gone to dinner before. It's just a joke, but
it's my favorite James thing ever. It's the best James story ever.
I think the panic level for Chiefs fans who are just not used to losing close games is maybe about a 6 or 7. I think it gets to the 10 point if they lose to the New York Giants. You do have the Brazil stuff. I don't think the team wants to embrace it as an excuse, but there is a disparity in the Brazil game where the home team is treated a lot better in a sense of travel than the road team. The road team has a 2-3 hour bus ride because of the infrastructure of Brazil, whereas the other team is closer to the stadium. Yeah, it feels like a reach for going to that game. They did come out a little flat. It ended up being the difference in the game. I also think the Chargers are good after 10 years of people saying it. I mean, you saw the defense on Monday night, and Justin Herbert looks like he could be the MVP this year, early here. And then you have the Eagles game. The tush push became a big part of that game. Another slow start for the offense. I think the whole narrative is different if Travis Kelce just catches the ball and they win the game. I think that was a huge point. But they're not a team without problems, and I think everybody realizes that. And to use the cliche, Sunday in the Meadowlands probably feels like a get-right game, but you're also facing a Russ Wilson coming off one of the better games of his career, and the Giants' defense is certainly legit. So I just don't know if it's an easy task. I think you got to get out of the Rashee Rice window, which is 6 games at 3-3. So now you got to go 3-1, and we'll kind of see if they can do it.
Like real quick, because I get that the fan base panicked because they've not been through this if you're a younger Chiefs fan, or it feels like a long time ago. So it's sitting at 6, it could escalate. What about the team? Like, do you sense a building frustration going through something they haven't gone through? Is it just like Chiefs we have ultra confidence, we're going to be fine?
Well, it's foreign to many players on the team. The last time that they were 0-2 was 2014. And so this is new to everybody, really. They usually have bounced back if they've dropped the opener, which hasn't been all that frequent in general in that sense. And so this is backs against the wall. I think typically in the Mahomes era, if you just look at it as a whole, even before the championships have started happening in 19, even dating back to 18, there always seemed to be a rebound when it seemed like they were down. And it just seems like they have to dig deeper this year because of the suspension to Rashee Rice. Xavier Worthy popped up with an injury. He is practicing again this week. I think we'll see about Sunday. But, you have your receivers that are down. Hollywood Brown can only do so much. Travis Kelce, I think he does look a little better despite the mistakes of the first 2 weeks. But again, you really wanted to run the offense through Rashee Rice. So I think the pressure is there. You don't want to go 0-2 and look no further than Cincinnati all these years. It's really tough to get out of that hole, and so you want to rebound as quickly as possible. Yeah,
there is no chance, 0. And I know this is a pro Giants podcast, but there's no chance the Chiefs lose that game.
I don't know. They were spicy last week, the Giants.
No, in fact, that's part of the reason.
I
we'll
agree,
save this for the Thursday show.
Classic Chiefs to make it a lot harder than it should be.
I get that, but also classic Giants of the last 10 years to kind of suck you in a little bit with that game, and then maybe things are a little bit different against a Chiefs team that's in desperation mode at 0-2. File that away for our blind locks of the week. All right, should we talk about the tush push thing? I think we're all exhausted by it, but. Because it was the spin coming out of that game was that the Eagles won because of the tush push, which I don't think is necessarily fair. As much as I thought it removed a lot of the elegance and fun out of the end of the game, I don't think it's why they won. Jordan Mailata, the left tackle, went on WIP and was pretty fired up about it. And bonus points because hearing Australian who's angry, that's fun. So let's listen in.
I understand it. I understand the outrage. What I don't understand is them using it as an excuse to why we won the game.
Right.
I think it's incredibly disrespectful to our defense and our special teams who balled out. My brothers on defense and special teams who balled out that game, who had our backs when we weren't moving the ball or we weren't doing anything. And so when I see those things, and they fly across my timeline here and there, and I do my best to stay off social media, but that kind of irks me a little bit. That pisses me off because we give so much to this game, and to kind of base off a short yardage play that is a football play, and say that we won the game off that, but not how our defense played, not how our special teams have played, putting us in those positions. I think it's bullcrap. Part of my French. Hey, let me press this dump button.
No. Bullcrap is fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that one's fine.
I think I was going to say a lot of other stuff, but I just think it's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. Man. It makes me.
It's rubbish.
Makes my blood boil just thinking about it.
That's as angry as an Australian can get. By the way,
what a voice.
That's peak Australian anger. What was the while we're here? What was the Chiefs side of this in that locker room? I don't know. Did they really think that that's why that game was taken from them, or how are they reacting to all this talk?
I share the Chiefs notion, and I think it dates back to the offseason. I'd never thought it should be banned. I think it's one of the least entertaining plays in football, but just because a team is mastered it doesn't mean you ban it. I think what changed in this particular game is just the fact that the Chiefs really felt like the Eagles guards were false starting on a lot of the succeeding plays. And you see, I think with Chris Collinsworth and sort of targeting Juwan Taylor, and all of a sudden he's getting called for a lot of things. You just wonder if there is an adjustment this week where you see it and it's officiated a little bit better. But I think you've started to see some of the momentum. First, they tried the safety of it. Jason Kelsey kind of shook that off. Now it's more of, can we officiate this play? And I think for Andy Reid to go as far as to say there were missed calls, he doesn't usually address officiating. I mean, it was soft from him, but again, that's like a 10 on the Andy Reid scale as far as frustration with officials. And so I think that's the difference here. And so, we'll kind of see if there is an adjustment as we go.
It does feel like, there was talk and it came close potentially to cancel this play. And I really never wanted that to happen. I'm really glad that did not happen, because then it's like, what's next? But I think the problem is, like, it humiliates everyone involved with facing the Eagles. Like, the defense is humiliated. The coaching staff, who has had multiple off seasons to try to solve this problem, can't solve it. And the refs look like they're missing calls. So everyone on the field is feeling furious that this play exists if you're anti-Chiefs or anti-Eagles. And but you don't take it away. You don't find a way to stop it.
Here's the thing. And this is what actually gets me more mad about it, is everyone thinks it's all about, well, if you don't like it, stop it. It's not about that. It's this weird machismo angle that's been baked into so much of this conversation. It's not about that for me. For me as a football fan, it's like, it's not fun to watch. And it's not an anti-Eagles thing. I'd say this if it was any of the other teams that were contenders in this league. That's the problem. And I'm watching that game, and I thought it slowed down the momentum of a really great defensive slugfest. And when you hear Dean Blandino come on and like shrug his shoulders and be like, you're coming to me to ask me how to officiate this play? The league doesn't know how to officiate this play. Obviously, there's penalties. Potentially, there's turnovers going on. We can't see. We don't know. And that's, to me, what it's about. It's not good for the product. It's not. But I feel like what has been more exciting and in terms of like the sports talk side of it is like, this is against the Eagles, and, oh, you're not tough enough to stop it, and all this shit. And it's like, oh, Jalen Hurts has such strong legs. Too bad you don't. And it's like, no, it's like, does this make football more fun to watch? To me, it's no. And I can't, Mark, can you honestly tell me you enjoy watching that play?
Here's the thing. Like, I can hear where you're coming from, that the machismo, if we want to label it as that, has become a tired argument. Like, the whole conversation has grown stale as like a 10-week-old loaf of bread. But I will say this, like, to say that you don't enjoy the play is subjective. Many people might like that style of football. And I don't feel when I'm watching it like, wow, I can't stand the play I just watched. It's like this thing that really, to me, builds out the character of one NFL team that's created something that no one can defend or stop. Like, I don't hate that. I think it adds an element of challenge. I'm not saying, hey, no, that's just simply down to that. But I don't look at it and say, well, I can't stand this game.
You saw
watching.
the false
I don't
starts
have that.
Also, right? You saw that it didn't
that
look
part of it
exactly
is, that's what I'm saying, that's
either.
humiliating to the officials. Like, and then that part needs to get corrected. Right?
I don't know about it's humiliating, because I'm with you. I understand the why teams feel that it could be like a humiliating play. They know it's coming, they can't stop it. It sounds like the officials are just like more frustrated by it. It's like everyone's like trying to, like, how do we fix this? We don't know how. We can't. It's too compact, and it's a scrum. It's a rugby scrum. All right, let's move on. Let's just move on. Mark, let's talk about your Packers. You have planted your flag in Green Bay this season, and everybody's very happy for you. It's a 2-0 start. What is different about this Packers team? Well, I think Micah Parsons makes them very different. Let's start there. But also, it's a mindset, okay? A mindset, Sessy. Here's all-pro safety Xavier McKinney on the 2-0 start.
I'm not going to sit up and say we're the best team in the NFL. I mean, it's just 2 games. We got a lot of football to play. And I think the biggest thing about being 2-0, like, to be honest, like, you can't really get complacent, and you can't feel like you won a Super Bowl. Because it's a lot of that start off 2-0, and later in the season, they don't be worth shit, so.
I like it.
There's a lot of ways to say that. It's player speak, right? But I like that he dropped some language in there and kind of went fire with it. And like, I imagine any good team understands that 2 weeks into the year, there's still plenty of room for an apocalyptic nightmare to occur. So you don't get too up in your own britches.
Pete, how about the idea of just motherfuckers as a term that endures? I mean, it's a pretty hardcore term. And it gets used in different ways. It could be used as, a real scathing put down. In this case, I don't see it used in the more literal sense, but still, it does always jar me when it gets just dropped into a sentence about a fast start of a football team.
I believe we had a moment where Amir Smith-Marset was on the Chiefs, and he eventually gets traded late in camp to the Panthers. And he came on and said, we asked him, who are you? What type of player is Amir Smith-Marset? I think he said, I'm the baddest MFer in the NFL. And I think it transcends the player, no matter who says it. Could be a special teamer like Mr. Amir or someone we just heard as a bigger role. It really is ear catching and is always something you're going to run. It could be the long snapper. We're going to run that in the Kansas City Star. So I think it speaks volumes. Yeah, I like it.
I think Samuel L. Jackson has done more for that phrase than anyone. And right down to the moment in Pulp Fiction in the diner where he pulls the wallet out of the bag and the wallet literally says, bad motherfucker. Jules Winfield.
Just in general, snakes don't belong on a plane. And you gotta emphasize that sometimes. Yeah, I think that's important.
We need to make sure people understand that.
And speaking of the Packers, this one was on my radar a little bit. I got to be honest with you. Now, I don't know if any of you have had, a surgery where they knock you out. You undergo the procedure, and then you wake up and you're in a state of you're high, basically. You've been put to sleep during the procedure. When you wake up, you might be saying things that don't make total sense because you're under the influence of the anesthesia or whatever it is, right? That's what happened to Jaden Reed. He had surgery on his collarbone after. By the way, one of the worst ways to get hurt in pro football is making a great touchdown catch, landing on your shoulder and breaking your collarbone, and then it's called back for a penalty. That ain't right. That's just like one of those things, like life has a cruel sense of humor. Anyway, so his relative, I don't know if it was his mother or an aunt or a girlfriend or whoever, they put him on Instagram Live. Right when he wakes up from the surgery. And Mark, you'll like the sentiment of what Jaden had to say, because even when high as hell, high as a motherfucker can get, the Packers' mission and goal is intact. Check this out.
You got a whole bunch of people on here. You want to turn it off? Tell them hi. Tell them that you're
Pack
good.
us to the bowl, bro.
Okay.
Bruh.
Tell them you good. And then we're going to go.
I'm good. Thank you for the prayers, bro.
Oh, no.
But we turned, bro.
Okay.
We going all the fucking way, bro.
Okay, that's it.
Nah, bro. They can't with us, bro.
Like, turn it off.
Scrambling to turn it off. Wait, you asked them for it.
Couldn't we say that, like, if we were enjoying Xavier McKinney's 2-0 doesn't mean anything, we haven't accomplished anything, would Jaden Reed is sort of diametrically opposed from a philosophical angle here, and maybe it takes some medication, but not on the same train there in terms of where we believe the Packers are at.
Yeah. I just like all this. I think this train is all rolling right out of Sessler Station. I think all these vibes started, in August when you got hot for the Packers. And now it's a freight train, baby.
As long as too many more players aren't going under the knife.
No, like I said, the difference between this Sessler selection and the past is this team is good. Now, I I mean, they've been to the playoffs like every year, right, under LaFleur. You now predicted a good team to make a leap rather than a middling team to rise out of like the slumber of the NFL or the underbelly of the league. And I think that's a big difference, Pete. I think it was a smart move by Sessy, and I think that's a key difference here.
I learned it this offseason, and I know Mark probably shared. It's never too late to win the breakup, and he put his onions on the table. And I like the pick, and you got to do those types of things to show that you know what you're talking about. And look, I think when we heard it, right, when I heard it as just a podcast listener, I was kind of caught off guard. But it sounds really,
he's a top 10 football insider.
It sounds almost psychic in a strange way, and so I think that plays into the Mark mystique, the Mark Steak, so if you will, the
Mark Steak.
It took only about 12 years to nail one of these. But I'm not going to mention the past 12 years.
Yeah, some would maybe say, well, he predicted it before Micah Parsons got there, and now he's getting credit for the Micah Parsons side of it too. But I wouldn't say that. I would just say that was a good fortune that just loaded your pick up even better. I mean, there's nothing you can't take that away from Mark. That's what I would say.
I would suggest that it just deepens the psychic.
Yeah, if you're not on the beat of Pretty Ricky, you're doing it wrong nowadays. So Mark was on the Twitter sphere, and he kind of used that to his advantage. And who's to blame him for that? I think
you can see Pete and Mark just getting closer as the episode goes along, like it's a special time.
I know, but here's the question: is it a show business type of closer, or is it a real connection?
We don't ask those questions.
Yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned. And by the way, if I ever get my tonsils out, or I have to get my gallbladder removed, if any of you motherfuckers put a camera in front of my face and then put it on the show, you could take a walk.
It's a great idea.
Walter White learned it the hard way. That's how they discovered the two phones, and you just got to be careful with those situations.
That's right. All right, let's take a break, and we will continue on with the end around. All right, we are back. I like this. It's just a fun talker, as they say in the industry. Raheem Morris, coming off a game where, and really now it's a large sample size that Bijan Robinson is, arguably the best running back in the league, or right there. His head coach says he's the best football player alive right now. Here's a little bit from Raheem.
Do you think Bijan's one of the best or one of the best players in football?
There ain't no doubt about it.
He does?
He does?
You said the best player in football.
He's definitely the best player in football. Like, in my head, I don't care. He's unbelievable. Like, I love the kid. I love everything about him. I love watching him with the ball. I love his confidence. I love his demeanor. I love his mindset. I love the leadership. I love everything about him.
It's a great question, because you would maybe default to saying, well, it's got to be a quarterback because the quarterback is the most important. But if you actually just make it a question of like, let's go to the playground and let's play a game, and who are you picking to be on your team? I would probably go with Saquon Barkley right now, or maybe a Justin Jefferson. But Bijan is making his case, Pete. Like, I mean, this guy is raised his game. He's coming off a monster week 2, and he's a stud. So, and obviously, like the same thing with Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers and Herbert, you're going to pump up your guy. And so all this checks out for me.
Yeah, I think when you're having this conversation, you need to extrapolate the quarterbacks from it, because it'd be too hard to not give the quarterback a nod. For me, I love watching Bijan. I enjoy actually when the Falcons are on primetime. Wasn't the most exciting primetime game, but you get to see him and what he can do. For me, that player is Jahmyr Gibbs. I would probably go in that direction. I think he's the best non-quarterback in the NFL. Again, if you're not including defensive players, that opens up a whole nother conversation. But for me, it's Gibbs and then everybody else.
I like the Gibbs pick. I think that Raheem Morris, beyond the pump-up factor, is one of the few people that's been able to watch Bijan Robinson off the field and in practice every day, and is seeing what he's growing into. So it's almost, for me, a little prophetic. Like, this is where here's what everyone's going to be saying about Bijan Robinson a year from now, and he's already seen it. But that said, like, you're like, positionally, it's a really odd argument because, like, not from a Browns angle, but Myles Garrett is one of the fiercest human beings in the entire sport right now. Is he a lesser football player than Bijan Robinson? Running back angle, I think I'm on board with Bijan. I think I'm starting to see something very special, and so I can sign up on that.
All right, good. Yes,
I have an issue with Bijan Robinson. Hook 'em horns, love the guy. But I want to revisit the name pronunciation thing real quickly here.
Oh, boy. Again?
So he was on Sunday Night Football, and on Sunday Night Football, they played this cool clip of, like, behind the scene. You know, they do the little player intros, and they all say their name and their school or whatever. Here is the clip of Bijan saying his own name 3 times in a row.
Before you play this, Justin, what were we told most recently was the correct pronunciation? Because I immediately moved that out of my brain after we last talked about this.
Yes, I actually have that clip too if you want it first. He says it's Bijan, not Bijan. Bijan.
Not Dijon.
Not, it doesn't rhyme with Dijon mustard, even though Dijon mustard is a thing that he...
Bijan, not Bijan, Bijan. Okay, go ahead. Now that we have that.
Farbuck.
All right, here is him from Sunday Night Football.
Ellen Moore.
Bijan Robinson, University of Texas.
Let's do it one more time. Just do Texas.
Okay.
Bijan
Robinson,
it's Bijan.
Texas. One more. Bijan Robinson, Texas.
Okay. Yeah, it's clearly Bijan.
Here's what he said in the offseason.
How you pronounce my name is Bijan.
No,
for everybody that's out there.
Good job by you, Justin.
I know
this is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's Bijan. It's Bijan.
This is to create an aura around him, a confusion that is maybe attractive to some.
Is it because he's in the, as Wes used to call it, kind of the Bermuda Triangle of the NFL, where it's kind of hard to get coverage? So he's intentionally putting this kind of subterfuge into the air for us to debate, Pete? Is that, because that's pretty clear. That's good reporting, Justin.
He's never struck me as the guy that would run his own bit, but that is pretty damning evidence that he's doing it. I don't know. That's a weird little quirk about the NFL.
Little side angle. Let's say you're a pro athlete. You're dating 2 women, and one finds that up, and the other's like, "Are you dating Bijan?" She's like, "No, I'm dating Bijan." Oh, okay, cool, we're good.
You know what it's like? It's like a people of a certain age will get this. When Steve Urkel went into the machine that he built in his basement, and then he became Stefan Urkel, who is like hot and suave. So you had this nerd Steve who was always trying to bang what's her name, Laura. And it never happened. But then he goes into the machine, and then the fog pours out, and he's Stefan Urkel. And Laura, I think that was her name, was like, "I'm all in on Stefan." So maybe there's one of those. Maybe it's an Urkel situation.
Yeah, what a writer's room that show boasted of.
Quite a come up for Stefan too. You just change your look a little bit, you get a makeover, and suddenly you're a hot commodity. Wish we could all do something like that. That'd be great.
Justin, can you get the name of the eldest Winslow daughter for me? All right, and while you do that,
poor Justin.
That was a TGIF staple. Family Matters. It was Family Matters, Step by Step, with Duffy and Summers, R.I.P. And your friend, the girl who didn't she read your screenplay at UCLA or something, Mark?
Oh, My Two Dads girl. Hold on, what's her name again?
No, she's Step by Step girl in this.
Well, that came after. Stacy Keenan. Yeah, she read us. My teacher created Different Strokes and Step by Step and all these other shows, so he had access to these people, and this little thing I wrote got picked to get read, and she was the main lead. And I was sitting there the entire time because I was like younger, looked like a hot mess in like a flannel shirt. And I'm just like, that's the girl from My Two Dads. And I was like, I literally was starstruck and operated like a wild mental mess the entire time. So that's how that went.
Good job. All right.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it was nice. Uh-oh. That's what I said. All right, Justin. What do you got? What's the big news you got?
The oldest Winslow daughter on Family Matters was Laura. Is that what you said?
Nailed it.
That was it.
I nailed
You say Laurel or Laurel? It's Laura.
Well, let's not go down that road again.
I didn't say Laurel. I said Laura. Okay. Good.
job.
While you're here, Justin, before I go into this this venomous screed, do we use AI at all for this program?
Define at all. I mean, is
Bill
there
Clinton.
a potentially like small part of an image that we use for branding that was maybe generated by an artificial intelligence program? Perhaps. Do we use like any AI video stuff? No, of course not. We're real people.
Okay, great. And also, like, we're not a $15 billion corporation, right? We're an independent podcast, right?
We are. Yes.
Okay, cool. So I feel like we're in the clear morally on this one, Mark. What in the fuck is this commercial that the NFL's been airing?
Hold on, guys. I actually think this is our year.
Oh, no.
Okay. Jaden Daniels, Super Bowl.
What?
Book it
No.
now.
When pigs fly.
You rang.
The Pope said Caleb and the best raised beef.
Lions hunting Super Bowls, biting kneecap in a Jeep.
Blizzard on the field.
We got a three-headed goat.
ATL always a ton.
I'm on a dolphin, not the float.
Cut. Guys, my legs are chafing.
What is it?
need
I
some
mean,
baby
what is
powder.
happening?
Travis Hunter double trouble. Lights out in the black hole.
Yo, cool, icy cold. It's time to rock and roll.
Giant size hopes you can handle
How's
the
that kid?
risk.
But you gotta beat the champs, cause you know what it is.
So I mean, that's excessive AI use. And I guess it strikes me as a little bit, I don't know. I guess for a company that's cut so much of its creative force, maybe that's what's happening here. But they didn't actually think they were going to get away with this without some level of criticism, right?
The moment when that child who is the Rizzler, a TikTok star, is like large face into screen, things start to float away from a reality standpoint. I don't know what to make of it. I will say, if you go back for years, they've been doing these like hip hop like rap bits during some games and stuff, and they're awful. They're awful, and they don't represent the form of music or anyone well. And so this feels like a LSD extension of that. Pete, this was a ridiculous thing that I laid my eyes on.
I'm a big fan of Drewski and not such a fan of the Rizzler. So I had a come up and a come down moment in that 60 seconds. And
was Drewski the guy in the Dolphin? Was that?
Yeah. And I think it's probably always smart to not try to force cool. When any situation where you're trying to force cool, it's not going to be cool. And I think that's kind of a microcosm of what this was.
Yeah. And I do remember because it's on top of it, they're Weird Owling the Quad City DJs classic "Come On Ride the Train" from '96. I don't know, man. We have to have a level of awareness. I don't know who was responsible for this. You have to understand that you're the NFL, and if you roll out a commercial where you're using AI imagery extensively, there's going to be questions about why didn't you pay actual artists to make your commercial, and how much money do you bring in? That's just they need that entire operation needs a governor of common sense. They really do. I mean, and they don't have one.
Those questions have not been asked in some time. The questions that you're asking them to ask of themselves.
And I don't imagine they're going to ask us, Mark, to be involved in perhaps that role. But if they want to, I would entertain it, but at the right price. Maybe with all the money they save by not hiring actual artists. And we're in the clear because, as Justin said, we use it just a little bit.
Little touch.
Not a lot of it. We're in the clear. All right, here we go. Week 2 fun facts. Moving on. Come on the train. For the first time since 2020, all 5 bird teams in the NFL won in the same week. All right, here we go, Pete. Name the 5 bird teams. Go.
The Eagles, The Eagles, the Cardinals,
2,
the Falcons,
3,
the Seahawks,
4. 5 seconds.
You got to hit me with it. I can't think of the last one.
It's a mean little bird.
It's a drunken bird. It's an Edgar Allan Poe bird. The Ravens. So close.
Should have had that. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, Pete. We're gonna have to throw you into a fire pit now.
No, don't do that.
Open the trap door, Justin, that we built under the. Where are you right now? You're at the what station are you at?
810 Sports Radio,
810
and
Sports.
Suddenly it's hot in here, and I'm getting nervous. I don't know. Okay, see, okay, yeah.
This is at great expense that we built this.
I'm still alive, only I'm very badly burned.
Other fun facts.
That hurt. That hurt.
I pulled this off, I think, the NFL subreddit. Since Caleb Williams told punter Tory Taylor, "You're not going to punt too much here," Taylor has punted 92 times, more than any player in the NFL. Doesn't pro football have an incredible sense of humor at times?
I guess it's if you're Caleb Williams and you want to wiggle out of this, you say, well, what is the definition of too much? Maybe we haven't gotten there yet. Too much is vague. It
Right.
could be 186 times.
It's true. That's important to have.
The fascinating thing about Caleb Williams to me, I think there are plays where he looks like Patrick Mahomes, but there are like too many plays where he looks like Jake Delhomme. And I feel like that is the issue. It's just it's too hot and cold with him. And I also think like at the rookie premiere, don't they do these like rookie engagement? They set up your finances. They teach you what there needs to be like some kind of lesson that you don't make these outlandish promising quotes early on because you like just don't know even what's around you. And I think he fell unfortunately victim to that. Yeah.
Like, i.e. humility.
Mm-hmm. Save the player from himself, really, generally, yeah.
He also, one more item here in week 2 fun facts, and it didn't go his way in terms of a gift, but Pete Carroll turned 74. 74. How about that? And they put one of the photos that's up. I don't know where. I guess the Raiders sent this out, and if you're watching on YouTube, check it out. This is the goal. This is what we're all looking to do. This is what we're all looking to pull off. To look like this at 74. I get why my mom had good taste. Back in '94, she was a Pete Carroll fan during his
Had a little crush on him.
Yeah, his one and done season under Leon Hess and the New York Jets. Here we are over 30 years later, and that man, look at that. Hubba.
He's oozing sex, and the type of guy that you're going to look at, and he's probably going to look in the mirror when he wakes up and say, damn it happened again. And when someone says, what, he got more handsome again today. Continues.
Yeah. When you'd go to those owners' meetings and there'd be the breakfast and you've got a string of coaches who clearly were out drinking till 5 a.m. and you can smell it coming out of their pores. The Seahawks table always had like a beam of sunlight coming off of it because this is a man who just has a cheery disposition. And as someone who does not typically have that, I'm starting to think like you better turn that around a little because he is de-aging. I do think also men, they've got a little bit of benefit in life with longevity that a guy could reach peak hotness from a certain point of view at like 65. And that's kind of a little cheat code for men. You might kind of look your worst when you're like 28, except you're young, but like you might get your style
points. Sex addiction? You got a problem with sex?
This is a societal observation, right? I mean, it could be arrow up for a long time, and Pete Carroll is a example 1A of that.
You got a birthday coming up, Mark, huh? Can't stop those.
No, they don't stop.
Yeah, but you're looking pretty good for a man of your age.
Well, case in point.
Yeah, look tremendous. What's your skin routine?
I'm learning more about it because, Pete, we were talking about how to glow up before the show with our friend Connor, and there's some bullet points that you got to pay attention to. But I just mentioned that when you get into your 40s, you got to start paying attention to that skincare routine a little bit better. And I never did, so I'm starting to learn slowly that got to get on this ASAP today.
Products can be your friend. Don't shy away. The better you look, the better you feel. You look good, you play good. That's what I always.
There we go, Pete. You've said it all. You nailed it. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Tom Brady is coming out of retirement, kind of, to join. And what the hell is going on here? By the way, I'm just gonna read this. Someone's got what in the hell? Like this is some like Illuminati shit. Really? Like who planned? How did this? What were the conversation? Tom Brady is set to join Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Max Crosby, Rob Gronkowski, Sauce Gardner, Myles Garrett, and others for the Flag Football Classic, a competitive flag football tournament taking place during, what is that word, Justin?
Don't look at me.
Jesus. RIYADH, Rida season in Saudi Arabia on March 21st, 2026. Can you look up what that means, Justin? We seem very uncultured, but we should know what it means if we're saying it. Okay. It will be Brady's first football action since retiring 3 years ago. Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, and Kyle Shanahan will be coaching the three teams. What? How much is this kind of, Pete? This kind of smacks of what happened with the PGA and Live Golf or whatever, Live Golf.
That was going to be my point on this. I think there's one person to blame for this, and it's Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson was the first to kind of normalize this thing. It was like a Mickelson-McIlroy back and forth about the dirty Saudi money and everything that goes along with it. And look, there's been a very clear initiative to sports wash their international reputation, and this is just the latest rendition. I mean, it's been Formula One, and you mentioned the LIV Golf. It's been WWE, and now it's become the norm to just be like, look, they're paying too much. And I mean, it in a way, you're like, this is terrible, but you also have to put yourself in their shoes and be like, no, it's not $1 million. We're actually going to pay you $25 million each, and for a weekend.
Yeah, I want to know the
like,
number.
How many of us would turn that down? Yeah, so it's a tough little situation.
Are you even allowed to do this? Aren't there parameters in almost every contract that bake in certain off-season activities? And I feel like playing flag football might fall under those.
Well, for instance, CeeDee Lamb was given maybe more players have already too, but CeeDee Lamb was given team permission to go do this. I'm with Pete 100%, and I think we all agree it's like, but where is this leading? Because let's say this March event is a rating smash hit, and you're courted around Saudi Arabia, and every one of these players makes. From what I've heard, Saudi Arabia has a lot of money. It's just out there as a whisper, but like, what if they become fascinated with the concept of American football, which they already are to some degree if they're doing this. Like, they tore golf up into 1,000 pieces for a bit. Like, where does this go? And also, by the way, Tom Brady once again at the epicenter of something that feels a little off kilter, like Saudi Arabian money handlers. Like,
how about this? How about the pregame Monday night interview between Tom Brady and, damn it, getting me again, Turki Al Sheikh, chairman of the Saudi General Entertainment Authority. Is this guy part of IPRA, the International Power Rankings Alliance? All right, go ahead. Take it away, Tom. This will be great.
It's going to be a global competition like we've never seen before, and my real training starts now, and I can't wait to take the field next March. I'd now like to turn it over to His Excellency.
Who's he talking to?
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you in Riyadh, first of all. One of the most popular athletes around the world.
I gotta go. We gotta get out of this.
You gotta see them signing his contract ceremoniously at the end.
No, there's not a ceremony.
It's not. It's like a ceremonious. Let's both sign your contract together.
How does this play in front of a massive American audience in a stadium?
What's happening?
Here's the contract.
Is he signing in blood? Yes, he's cut his finger open. He's signing in blood, ladies and gentlemen.
This is very pro wrestling. This is what they do in WWE. They sign the contract in front of
Is Jack Tunney here to?
Gorilla Monsoon needs to pop out somewhere here.
Oh, it would be amazing if Eli Manning just like cracked Brady over the back with a steel folding chair. That would be. And then he signed the contract too, and then he beat him in the desert.
I'm
kind of
surprised
I've changed my mind.
I'm kind of surprised Brady isn't more locked in on this upcoming meeting about the Bears. I mean, I feel like he's got to compile those notes for the week after.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that today, but Orr is so fired up about it that we said let's stick it in the the rotary file until our Thursday preview show. All right, quickly, some moves. If this is about Family Matters,
it's about Riyadh season, which is a major winter event, cultural and sporting festival in the Saudi Arabian capital, running from October to March each year. By the way, Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia, so we probably should have known that. But
I knew that.
Dan knew that.
I didn't. I knew that.
Mark knew that. Pete knew that.
Yeah, we all knew it. Actually, you were the only one that didn't know it. You know, for all our listeners, like, oh, the guys don't know anything. They're dumb Americans. We knew it, okay? And you can't prove that we didn't know it.
Nope.
But the question was, what's Riyadh season? Not what is Riyadh.
More nuance.
Riyadh is the cap of SA. Yeah, Pete.
It sounds like a big party. I don't want to go necessarily, but I'm sure it's very festive.
But if Mahomes gets signed and the Casey your editor's like, hey, this is turning into a big global event, we got to get your boots on the ground there. You might have to go. Like this could spiral.
One mantra that I do have is I answer to the man. I'll rise to the occasion if I have to. But
they'll be flying there in private jets. You'll be in deep coach, middle seat,
Air Saudi,
propellers, cigarette smoke thick in the air.
I'd go to Saudi Arabia.
If I survived the fire pit, I feel like I can do anything at this point.
You did. How are you, by the way?
I got to go get some cream for this.
Yeah, get some cream on your buttocks. All right, let's quick transactions, moves, news here. This is a bummer. Justin Fields has been officially ruled out for Sunday's game against the Bucs. This season is off to a flying start for Jets fans. Once again, it will be Tyrod Taylor against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs as the Jets look for their first win, and the Bucs are looking to get off to a 3-0 start. Good news, relatively, for Khalil Mack, the Chargers star linebacker who left Monday's win over the Raiders with a dislocated elbow. Ouch. He's expected to be back in a few weeks. That looked like a season ender when it happened, so I'm very happy to hear that. And you know what? The Chargers, Mark, I'm in on the Chargers. They're my team. So I will now celebrate Khalil Mack being back on a more personal level.
Yep, well, you've earned it. You've earned it. I think we can all see that. So I'm very happy for you and the Chargers.
The Cowboys signed your boy, Mark, Jadeveon Clowney. He's been on 7 teams, and now he's joining the Cowboys as they have now realized perhaps that the Micah Parsons move does have carry some residual effects in terms of rushing the quarterback, so we'll see if he can play the guitar. Speaking of pass rushers, Preston Smith signs with the Commanders. Aaron Jones goes to injured reserve for the Vikings. He's out at least 4 weeks, and they signed Cam Akers. And speaking of downtrodden franchises that can't seem to catch a break, the Bears lose top cornerback Jalen Johnson, likely for the season after re-aggravating a groin injury. If he needs surgery, which is possible, it's donezo for 25.
The one thing I like about Clowney, I don't know if I'd call him my boy. I don't know why that got thrown into the mix. But he basically just admitted that he went to the Cowboys because they have 5 primetime games and he can be showcased to probably go to another team next year. So well done.
There you go. All right, let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll do a little TNF, and then we'll close the door on this adventure with the end around. Stay right there. All right, we're back. Ah, man, just when I thought that they had figured out Thursday night football and the games are always bangers, I don't know about this one, Pete Sweeney, because we have, let's use the power rankings of record, the HTC power rankings, to give you an idea of what's happening here. It's the number 29 Miami Dolphins traveling to Orchard Park to face the number 3 Buffalo Bills. And I guess I'll just ask just a functionality question about if you're looking for competitive games, why not put this game in Miami? And I get it. You have Amazon has 47 different people on the pregame show, and all these producers get, and the networks get pumped up. Oh, we could send them up to Western New York and they could, jump through a table and eat wings, and we can get all the establishing shots in Niagara Falls, which I get it. But this feels like a bloodbath and a game that you might be able to comfortably turn off at halftime, which I know is not what Bezos and the other overlords are looking for here.
No, this feels like one of those old Thursday night football games, unintentionally. I think they probably thought the Dolphins would be in a better place, but they just feel like the mess of the NFL right now. And you have Buffalo, and I know that a lot of people play these survivor pools. And one of the things that I follow when I'm doing the survivor pools, you never really want to pick a division game because you never know what can happen. But then you get a Detroit Chicago like last week, and it just becomes so obvious what's going to happen. And the Bills are clicking on all cylinders. The Dolphins look like a mess. The Dolphins have not been good defensively against these receiving backs, and I think James Cook can go off. Josh Allen, of course, can do it on the ground and with his arm. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like a game that is not worth going out to the pub for. You might just want to stay home and eat dinner with your family and do that for this one.
Because you look at the Dolphins and, compared to where we were 2 years ago, you can't find a bright spot. Like the right tackle and the right guard are both out. Replacement players are playing at league low standards. We've got a Tua scenario behind a shattered offensive line. You've given up the second most points in the league on defense per game. It's only 2 games, generated no turnovers. So it's like, what are we pointing to here that suggests an upset? Because I always think that weird stuff can happen on Thursday, but that weird stuff usually tends to favor the team that didn't have to fly from their home on like a Tuesday night or something with no practice. It's like the team that is nestled in their own complex and can get the most out of a short week, and a healthier team. And outside of Matt Milano, the Bills, and Ed Oliver's out too for this game, but the Bills are the healthier team. They don't maybe need those players if the Dolphins perform the way that we have seen thus far.
Let me try to make a case for this game being close. Let's do this. Watched the game this morning, Dolphins-Patriots. And at the very least, we did see some functionality return to the offense. Tyreek Hill had a strong game. He had his first 30-yard reception in a year and a half or whatever. You had a Waddle touchdown. You had Devon Achane making some plays out of the backfield. So this is a Bills team that did get lit up on defense in week 1 by the Ravens. So, all right, maybe if Tua gets in one of his grooves, they could put up some points. But to your point, Mark, the problem is, and you saw it obviously in week 1 when they no-showed against the Colts, and then in week 2 against the Patriots, they can't block. They can't run the ball. They can't give Tua any time. And when you factor that in with arguably the worst defense in football through 2 weeks, this very much feels like a 4-13 team. And this is the last thing I'll say, Pete, and I'll throw it to you. They're going to be 0-3 after this game, and then they get the Jets in week 4. If they don't beat the Jets, who also very good chance they could be an 0-3, I think Mike McDaniel has 2 games left coaching this team. So the pressure and the vibes, it has to be really crushing inside that building right now. So it's a very vulnerable time to send a team to what I think is the best team in football up to their building in a primetime game.
Well, it's interesting that you guys had me on today. I think timely in a sense because I've been sort of following the Dolphins a little bit closer than the rest of the 31 teams because of the Tyreek Hill factor and how there's been so much steam of him potentially wanting to come back to Kansas City. Seems to have another off the field situation going on, and he was marred by that in Kansas City. But at the same time, unfortunately, this is one of the, as Dan, you would say, the worst parts of our league. When you're as talented as Tyreek Hill, there seems to be a longer leash for whatever you do off the field. And so I still wouldn't rule out the interest potentially in him wanting to jump ship. I mean, he hasn't been happy in Miami this entire time. And well, what you're saying is, yeah, I agree. I think Miami's going to be 0-3 after this game. If you lose to the Jets, no offense to you, Dan, but at that point, it's blow up the Dolphins time. And so I just wonder, especially with some of the Chiefs receiver woes, and you're still going to be waiting on Rashee Rice at that point. Is that when maybe you see something crazy happen where he ends up back with Mahomes?
It's a trope of this show that when there is a disparaging thing to say about the Jets, it's like, no offense, Dan. It's like, if I connected my pride and self-worth with the New York Jets, I would not have a job. I might not be on this earth. So no, I totally hear where you're coming from on that one.
I did that on Sunday. I said, no offense, Dan, the Bills made the Jets look like a
And I do the same thing with you with the Titans, and we do it with the Browns. We all root for a dickbag team. So it's like, the reason why we're able to get out of bed is because we don't connect ourselves as people to the bad teams that we unfortunately root for.
Well, increasingly so. I think when I was 12, I, wanted to jump out of multiple windows. At this point, lesser windows.
All right, we all got the Bills on this one, picking this game. Come on, somebody have some guts.
I have Bills 33, Dolphins 18.
18. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll go 34-10. How about you, Pete?
Yeah, I think I'm in that realm. I don't know if I have an exact score, but what is the spread here? 11-13. Yeah, I mean, I think they win by 2 touchdowns. Like if you're wagering on the game, I can't see a scenario where even you get like a backdoor cover and it's scary at the end. I think it's going to be one of those ugly Thursday night games.
And I just
based upon the vibes. Yeah,
I want Joey Bosa. I mean, Joey Bosa has also been a big pickup for them so far, and if he could stay healthy, that he's going to be a difference maker and maybe be the Von Miller that they thought they were getting with Von Miller. I worry about Tua's health, like straight up. Like if they can't protect him and they fall behind and he has to throw and the defense is pinning their ears back, it's all like it's a toxic stew down there.
Been there before.
You talk about one of the things the NFL doesn't need again. It's on a national televised game, and Tua taking another one of those, oh my God, he's dead.
Exactly.
Hits.
Right.
Don't want to speak that into existence,
agree.
But there's a lot in the air that sets up a dangerous situation for that quarterback. All right.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game.
Oh man.
He should be on this show. That's the
he
kind
might
of
be
analysis
available
we like
soon.
to bring.
He might be available soon. That's the good thing about that. If you want to stay positive, what was the former head coach of the Colts? They could fire you, but they can't eat you. That's keep your head up, Mike McDaniel. Who was that? It was
Chuck
Coach of
Strong.
the Year. Yeah, exactly. Charles Pagano. Chuck Pagano.
I think we all agree
Yeah.
that. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I just want to add one point about McDaniel. I don't know if you guys.
Whatever the hell he is, nerd boy.
Oh, stop it, Rex.
I feel like he's one of those guys that maybe would do a cup of coffee with the media and then be right back as an OC next year. I don't know. I think he would land.
Oh, him and Kyle
on his feet.
Shanahan, it's only a matter of time before they're reunited. He might even. I'm going to go. Then I'll go a step further. It's going to be one of those things like where Saleh showed up on somebody's staff last year after he got fired in week 4. I could see him being on the San Francisco staff almost immediately after the dismissal. All right. Before we go, let's check in on, we played the doc, doc on Fox. This, Pete, that we've been tracking this program.
Yeah.
And I'm a little concerned about it because some of the stunt casting and plot lines are on my radar. And now they've introduced this situation. Here's a trailer for the upcoming episode.
I was in a car accident. 8 years, just gone.
The smash hit Doc is back with an explosive season premiere.
He hates me for something that I can't remember.
I've got nothing to lose.
Doc, special premiere tonight on Fox.
You know, I call it the
Smash
old gun.
hit feels strong.
Yeah, that feels strong. We've been tracking the ratings on that. It got a pickup. It was a loose pickup. Also, whenever you introduce a gun to the ER, it makes me a little nervous, Pete. And then what I'm really worried about is I've been waiting for Matlock as a lady now to clap back and really put Doc on notice. And here is what dropped this past weekend, and week 2, on Matlock as a lady now.
Matlock, yeah.
I could burn this courthouse to the ground and still have them eating butterscotch on my hand.
Matlock returns Sunday, October 12th, part of CBS Premiere Week. Catch up anytime on Paramount Plus.
Gauntlet thrown down.
Never thought I would say this, but I think I'd rather watch Matlock if I had to choose one this week.
You see, that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about. But we have no concerns about Pete Sweeney. You've done it. You've said it all. Thank you, sir, so much for joining the End Around. Remember, check out Pete on Casey Star. He's the Beat Man. And all the other places. Where are you on Twitter there, Pete?
PG Sween. I throw the PG Sween, throw the middle name in there. Pretty simple. But yeah, a lot of Chiefs updates, occasionally commentary on the rest of the league for sure. Yeah.
And now we just wait to see what Mark does when show business, when the lights go down and then being a real person turns up. We'll see if you hear from him. And if you do, if it feels authentic and organic.
That's what I'm about. So that's how it's going to be received, I believe.
Yeah, no, I feel even in this short hour 10, whatever we did, Mark and I think we've come a long way. Even taken some small steps, but it's significant when we were taking 0.0 before. So I appreciate that, Mark.
I noticed that too. I sense hope around it, and I think Dan, without your mediating this would not have happened. So again,
this is the peacemaker doing his job. And remember, Mark, just like a little text Sunday morning about maybe 3 hours before kickoff. Like, hey, man, I know where you are right now. That Meadowlands parking lot, living the dream, dude. It's just a kid's game. And here we are. We're getting paid to cover a kid's game.
Hey, Pete, did you get a New York bagel? I know you're from there. That would be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, perfect.
It's easy.
I'm literally going to put this on my Google Calendar.
All right, everybody. We'll be back in 24 hours with the Week 3 preview with Connor Orr and our TNF recap. Until then, do what you must. Heed the call.
Holy shit, cable crew. If you've been unseasonably sweaty lately, don't worry. It's not pre-menopause. Fox and CBS are just cranking up the heat in season 2 of Doc, and Matlock is a lady now. Our favorite memory-challenged mommy is in the hospital firing guns and killing terrorists, while Kathy Bates is promising not just to work the courtroom, but to burn it down. Put on your socks and tune in your box because the heat wave continues this fall.